Welcome to Between Heaven and Earth, an internet radio talk show where we help you connect spirit and divine guidance. Lisa Kay, your host, brings you shows that can enhance and transform your life with tips and new ideas for more happiness, abundance, and better relationships. Lisa is an expert on intuition and can show you how to strengthen your inner guidance to empower yourself. Each show is positive and uplifting to inspire your day. Her guest speakers are specialists on self-help, positive thinking, spirituality, and conscious living. Be the best that you can be with Between Heaven and Earth, conscious living for your soul.
And angel blessings to everyone. Our show today is called Purple Paper Messages from the Other Side. Our guest today is Roland Comtois. And Roland's daily conversations with people who have passed create personal messages of love, healing, and hope to the people that they've left behind. He does this through what he calls purple papers, which are written sometimes months or years before he ever knows or meets the person that they are meant for. They are life-changing not only for the people who receive them, but also for an entire audience of people who come to see Roland deliver these messages. They powerfully comfort the grief-stricken, help those who suffered loss, find the strength in the love they shared, heal broken hearts, and give all of us hope that our loved ones live on through eternity. Roland Comtois is a nationally acclaimed inspirational speaker, spiritual medium, and radio show host. He's the author of the books And Then There Was Heaven in 16 Minutes. Roland is a professional healer, a spiritual medium with over 30 years of experience as a gerontology nurse, Reiki master, metaphysical teacher, and grief specialist. His mission is to help people find comfort in life in spite of loss, showing them how to move beyond grief with love and hope, and to pass on the messages that heaven and eternal love are real and always close at hand. It's great to have you here, Roland. Welcome.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm thrilled to join you today. Thank you.
I am too. This is so exciting. I know that we've had a lot of time to, in our relationship together, and both professionally and not as friends. And the purple papers were always something that I found were really fascinating. And I wanted to chat with you about those because one of the things, being a scientist that I think brings out in me is what is all this about? Is it real? And how do we know that we're really connecting to those who have passed? And one of the great things about your purple papers is that they are written, the messages on them are written long before you even sit and talk to the person that they're meant for. So that is sort of one of those, evidential data that says, hey, there's no information that Roland's picking up from the person that's sitting in front of them. So I wanted to ask you, How did these purple papers start?
Well, first let me take you back 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was sitting at home and I had this very beautiful and incredible, overwhelming feeling. And in my head, I heard, I want you to write the messages on purple papers. And that's how it started.
Oh, really?
It's not any more mysterious than that.
So you never wrote these messages before? So it was, now the messages have to go on the purple paper.
Yeah, I had always recorded messages. I've always made notes to my clients when I was sitting with them for sessions. But it was at this particular moment where everything changed. I felt the presence of something incredible telling me that I had a mission, and the mission was to tell the story that love was everlasting, and to sit quietly and to record what you hear, what you feel, what you see, what you know on these big purple papers, and when you do, people will find hope.
Wow. Okay. So I like that you said big, because they are big. And if anybody out there is interested in seeing an actual purple paper, if you go to Facebook, you can see my purple paper posted on facebook.com/LMK88fans, F-A-N-S. But they're large. They're actually, I don't know, are they like 2 by 1 or how
They're
big
11 by 17.
11 by 17.
Purple papers, and they are just sitting waiting to receive the words that are coming through to me. The thing that's interesting now, and fast forward to today versus 10 years ago, the images are much more colorful. So when I'm in prayer and meditation, they come to life. I see color. I feel the energy of
Were
the
they always
story.
in color, or did they start out in black and white?
Well, now I see the rainbows I'm talking about. Now I see how people passed and the energy that's shown in color around their passing. I just see these colors, and I create that by putting that energy on the paper. So if I see a rainbow or a purple flower or a blue butterfly or someone who passed on the sidewalk and I see the concrete, all these things get documented on those purple papers now.
Wow. And has it, on my paper, there are more words. So has it morphed from words to pictures, or are there still words on there?
It's a combination of whatever's happening in the moment. For example, I have a paper in front of me right now, and I'm going to post it somewhere, and I'm going to figure that out at some point.
People
But
want to see them.
Yeah, it's dated 5/26/2015, and the paper says, Matthew wants people, in quote, to never give up again.
Oh, where'd you go? I'm having trouble hearing you. I think we've lost Roland. We're going to have to get him back. Let's see.
Things mean something. When
Roland, you're back. We lost you or at least I lost you for a moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Start again. Tell us the story. Hopefully, if other people missed it.
Okay.
So you started your story.
So I was having this conversation about this purple paper, and this message says Matthew wants people to know that never to give up. And he was apologizing to his mother about everything. And I didn't see a lot of color on that particular day writing this message. What I did see was his name highlighted in yellow and certain parts of the message highlighted in yellow. And when things are highlighted in yellow, it tells me it's going to have a very significant impact on the person receiving that message. Now, you look at another purple paper, and there's one that says over the rainbow with a rainbow painted on the picture. There's another one that says, I'm sorry that I left near our favorite tree, and a picture of a tree is drawn on the paper. So there are all these kinds of pieces that are put on these papers to tell the story of a connection between two people.
And what happened with those particular ones? Could you tell us? Did you ever connect with? Do you had one that was like highlighted or that had a specific? And then connected with somebody? What happened?
So interestingly enough, last week I was in New York, and I was at a small shop in Cortona, New York, and I was doing an event for 50 people. And there was a purple paper with this humongous tree drawn on the paper, and it was a young man talking about his passing to the woman he loved and about going back to their favorite tree. I held that paper up in front of the audience, and that woman lost her breath because that tree was one where he passed. Second, a place that was incredibly significant in their relationship. In that moment, she came to some understanding that the two of them are still bound by love. No matter what happened at the last day or the days before he passed, that their relationship was bound in that energy of love.
Wow, that's amazing. And this paper was written before you went to the event?
It was written months before I went to the event. I've got another story. Can I tell you another?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
So last night, I'm in Rhode Island, and I'm doing, again, another event, and there's a woman in the back row, and I'm not really getting a lot of vibes. I'm not feeling a lot. So I say to her, why are you here today? Because I believe that the minute you think about your loved ones, the minute you bring them into your consciousness and your awareness, that much closer you are to them and the messages that they want to send you. So she says something, and the minute she speaks one word, she then seems to be gone. Right? She's not there. She's in a trance. She's overwhelmed, and something incredible is happening for her. And then all of a sudden, Lisa, I start hearing the story in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And the story says, tell her March 27th, 2015. Tell her that. And I start telling her the story of her brother and her father and her mother. And then I realized in that moment that there was a purple paper with her brother's name on it. Her brother's name was Joseph. I said to my assistant, find that paper. She finds that paper. She hands it to me. I hold it up and show her. To my surprise, the date on the paper was March 27th.
Oh, my gosh.
March 27th was the date that her father died. March was the month that her brother died.
Oh, my gosh.
Her brother's name was Joseph, and the entire story was there. If there was a TV crew standing in that room filming this event, people all over the world would have taken note to the possibility that love is everlasting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the other things that I tell people, Lisa, is that I'm really not, and this is hard for people to understand, I'm not in the business of talking to dead people. I'm really not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the business of talking to the living so we can survive grief, so that we can survive loss, so that we can remember love and remember the joy that we shared together, that we remember the peace that we had in our lives. And you know what else these moments do for us? For those moments for those people that need to truly have forgiveness or release or surrender or let go of one of their loved ones, maybe they weren't so kind in their lives, that offers that moment as well. So it's not just about
That's powerful. That's very powerful. I love that. That's really the true message is that love lives on.
That is the true message.
Oh, that's giving me chills.
Yeah, it's the true message.
Absolutely. And well, let's hold on to that.
Okay,
we're going to
great.
go on to our break, but we'll continue talking about it when we get back. We'll be right back.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business, and share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business.
Imagine receiving healing, vibration-raising energy as you listen to the radio. Energy that flows effortlessly to you. Imagine exploring all things metaphysical, sharing in an ongoing adventure. Join me, Karen Smoot, along with my co-hosts Lisa Victorson and Wendy Weber for Immersion into Source every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on OM Radio.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
And we're back. This is Lisa Kay, and you're listening to Between Heaven and Earth, and I'm sitting here with Roland Comtois, and we're talking about his purple papers and the wonderful messages that come from the other side and how they help people connect back to love. So, Roland, you were telling us about how you're not really speaking to the dead people, you're speaking to people who are living.
Well, yeah, it is my mission to tell those that are here that love is everlasting, that love remains. And yes, I hear messages, I feel things, I sense things. It does come from the afterlife and from our loved ones, but my goal isn't to wake up in the morning and have a conversation with someone that's departed. My goal is to look at someone right in their eyes, in their soul, and say to them that love lives on. And these purple papers are just one way that love is demonstrated from the afterlife. People get messages all the time.
Mm. So when you say they're getting messages all the time, are they getting them through you, or are they getting them in other ways?
Well, here's my other line, Lisa.
Uh-huh.
I also tell the audiences that I meet, if anyone ever told you, now is everybody hearing me loud and clear? If anyone ever told you the only way to get a message is through a medium, I'm telling you, they lied to you.
Mm.
Because who needs the medium? Come on. I mean, you
Right.
think all your people showed up at my house so that I could have a talk with you. The fact is, I'm here and people like me are here to hold the energy that love is everlasting, to provide to the person who's present the opportunity to explore to explore that idea that love is everlasting. So you could be sitting at home and you get a message. You could be driving your car and get a message. You could be sitting in the backyard and getting a message. You could be doing all kinds of things and getting these very beautiful messages.
Yeah, I think people get messages all the time. I so believe in that. I think there's a reason for that. Do you think there's more to it than just saying knowing that your loved ones are still around? Is there something about why do you think all that is the universe allows us to continue to connect that way? Is there something more to do with our lives today?
Well, yeah, this is the whole point of it. First of all, the reason why this happens is, number one, it tells us that we don't die.
Right.
That we don't physically, we physically die. I'm a nurse. I understand the process. We die.
Yeah.
But the part of us that makes us who we are does not die. The second lesson it teaches us, Lisa, is that it teaches us how to live now, how to love now.
How does it do that?
You know how it does it?
Yeah.
This is a perfect example. I met a woman recently who lost the love of her life. And she said, why are they so busy on the other side telling us they love us and that they're with us? Why are they so busy doing that? Why didn't they do it before? And this is what I said to her. I said, did you take an extra 5 minutes to tell someone in your life that you love them today? And she said, oh my God, I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
So is it like, I guess I always wonder about why we're here, what is life all about? Because I guess if you can think about what's beyond life and what happens before you die, what happens after you die, or what happened before you lived, that gives you the big picture of the universe and what is it all about and why we're here. So the messages that come, all right, you just gave a wonderful example of, did you tell your loved one that you love them? So what is it that we learn from now having that peering into the world beyond where, what we see physically? What are the lessons that you've heard that we should take away?
Well, I think one of the most incredible lessons, and this teaching actually from the spiritual realm has been very strong over the last few years, and that it's to rekindle the light of humanity. And I know it may sound far-fetched when I'm giving a purple paper to one woman sitting in the audience, but let me tell you what happens. That one woman who heard the message from her brother last night, who picked up a purple paper with the date of her father's passing, took the energy of that experience and took a step into her life. Some kind of thing, the ripple effect of love happened after she left that room. I think also about this. Can I tell you another story, Lisa?
Sure.
So I was in Jay, New York many years ago, and there was a young family sitting in front of me, and they were there because their father died very tragically in a bus accident. And I will never forget them. I will never forget their faces. I will never forget their pain. And ultimately, I will never forget the love that was exchanged in that moment. There in the room of many people, these three folks sat, waiting to get a message from the husband and the father, sat there, waited until the very last moment. And when I discovered that I was talking to them and I had a purple paper, I pulled it out. It was an image of a bus, and it told the story of how the father passed and shared moments of love through that documented, pre-recorded, documented paper.
Wow.
A year later, now talk about the ripple effect of what messages do for someone in their lives.
Yes.
A year later, I get a message. I get a letter from the family, and the letter said this: I want you to know that what you did for us was incredible. My son went back to school. He started to talk about his grief. He started to talk about his loss. He started to tell his friends, and he decided to write a letter or something to tell the story to the group in his class.
Mm-hmm.
And this boy choked up telling the story of his father. And some kid said, well, do you want me to read it for you? And the son said, no, you know what? I have to do this for my father. He read the entire letter. His life changed because he had a feeling that his father was still part of him.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's what happens here.
So it goes out, and so these are very transformative messages that through the grief, I guess they can, as you say, find love again.
Yeah, they can remember love. Remember love as it was before there was pain or before there was grief, because grief becomes the interference of love, right? We then get fearful, then we get worried, then we forget.
That's the big thing. We get worried and fearful. And I think we get fearful of life ending for us.
Yes. And
where we're going to be at that. As you know, I have elderly parents who I'm continuing to take care of and deal with, and that alone is a burden in terms of the stress of emotions, right? And
yes.
the love that you go through, slowly watching the life go to its completion. And that is a whole thing about love in itself. And then you think about yourself and like, okay, well, this is where, this is what's in store. So,
yes.
I think that makes you reflect on your life.
It
day
does.
To day, right?
It
does. So do you believe, all right, so that comes back to love. And so how should we live our lives? Is it that we just have to express our love all the time, or?
One of the things I discovered when my mother was dying, and she's been gone for 3 years,
wow.
And people would come up to me and say, what are you crying for?
Really?
Yeah. And I'd say, well, I'm a 50-year-old kid that lost the one person who never left me, who always was by my side. And
it's going to make me cry.
Yeah, it makes me cry. It makes me cry all the time. And they came up to me and said, what are you crying for? Well, I said, because the human connection I had with her isn't the same. It'll never be the same because we've changed. She's changed.
Oh, yeah.
I have changed. I got to tell you the story. And my mother, for most of our lives, thought I was a little, out there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She'd say, oh, not another angel story, she'd say, or not another spirit. But she came around. I mean, I remember seeing her sitting in an audience when I had 800 people that I was talking to. She was glowing with pride, absolutely glowing with pride. But there were several days before she passed. I walked into her rehab room, and she really was in rough shape, and she was glowing. And I said, oh, Mom, what's happened? Are you all right? She said, Roland, you're not a nut. I said, oh, my God, could you leave me with an I love you instead? And I said, why? And this is emotional to talk about. She said, because you were right. They came to me last night. Wow. My sisters and brothers, who I had missed for so long, came and stood by my bed. They stood by my bed and told me that when my time comes, they will take me to the other side. So you won't, Roland, have to worry about me anymore. And I said, Mom, my God, that's a beautiful thing. And she kind of leaned into me. She got really close. She looked at me and said, what are you going to do when I'm gone? I said, Mom, I have no idea. You never left before. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do everything I can to remember the love that we've shared. I'm going to do everything I can to remember the laughter we had. I'm going to do everything I can to still be the best son that I can for you. And she said to me, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do everything I can to send you signs and messages.
Oh. And has she?
And she has. And she has. And our loved ones do that. They do that because they want to remind us that they still exist. But we are not defined by the physical garment that we have on. That's not how I'll be. I won't be remembered for my blue eyes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I won't be. I'll be remembered for standing in a room and maybe making someone feel better. You'll be remembered, Lisa, for the love and the energy that you've bestowed upon humanity. My mother will be remembered for the way she made me laugh, for the way she drove me crazy, for the way that she loved me.
Yes.
You know, that's what this is about.
It is how we touch people in this life, and it's not about the money we've made or the title that we've earned, but that how we touch people. And I think even when we have those conversations with the people we love and we create those memories, it does something transformative within us, and that we can remember the joy and the love that we had in those moments. I think that's absolutely beautiful. Really exciting. Well, we're gonna go to a break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk more, and I will share with our audience how you guys can connect with Roland, perhaps in person, and maybe you can get a purple paper. We'll be right back.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hey ladies, do you want to have that good hair day feeling all the time? Gentlemen, would you want your special someone to have that glow, letting you know she's feeling completely satisfied? This feeling and that glow can be yours by embracing your sexual power. So join me, Rachel Kenley, award-winning romance author, on the O-Spot. The O-Spot will guide you to that peak with guest interviews, book discussions, and conversations on the thrills of sexual empowerment. Put the zing back in your life. Come up and see me sometime on the O-Spot, live on Hump Day at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
If you've ever said, I do want it all. I do want happiness. I do want love. And I do desire the happily ever after fairy tale life, then this show is for you. Join me, Dame Nicole Brandon, for my internationally acclaimed show, Bridal Talk Radio, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, where I'll bring you the top experts in the fields of communication, money, relationships, finance, pleasure, play, travel, sexuality, parenting, real estate, adventure, comfort, care, passion, and love.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes.
And welcome back. I'm Lisa Kay, and you're listening to Between Heaven and Earth. And we are at our half-hour mark, and we're talking to Roland Comtois, who is a wonderful, wonderful messenger and brings people messages of love and hope and transforms their lives. And you can reach Roland at rolandcomtois.net. That's Roland, R-O-L-A-N-D, Comtois, C-O-M-T-O-I-S.net. rolandcomtois.net. And you can find out more about him there. And I'm going to give you a little bit of some of the places where you might be able to meet him if you are out and about or if you happen to be in these places. June 27th, he is going to be at Barnes & Noble in Hilton Head, South Carolina, I believe that is. So you can go and get a signed copy of his book, And Then There Was Heaven in 16 Minutes. Also, on June 27th, later in the day, Roland is going to be giving his messages of hope and healing called The Eternity of Love. And he is a wonderful, wonderful messenger, and I encourage you all to go see him. That's going to be at the Hampton Inn in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. He basically transforms everybody who's there. Everyone is touched. Everyone is able to come back with something, and I think you'll really, really love it. It's just absolutely amazing. And the last thing I have here is Roland's going to be going to Italy, and that's exciting. Roland, do you want to tell us a little bit about it? It's an 11-day experience.
Well, I was asked to speak in Gubbio, Italy on October 2nd, and I agreed to go speak there. So my one day of speaking there has turned into this very incredible cultural, spiritual experience of Italy. We're going to be doing things and going places that you can't do on a normal tour. And we're going to be doing meditation and prayers in very sacred places. We're going to be eating homemade pizza at the home of some very wonderful people in Gubbio, Italy. We're going to be making our own Love is Eternal plates in a craftsman's gallery, and so there's just wonderful things attached to this trip, and you can see all of that on my website.
Oh, that sounds so exciting. I love going to sacred sites, and I love Europe, and there's something very magical about the energy in those places that I find, and I guess I'm a sacred site energy junkie. So I'm always going to the beautiful places. I guess the cathedrals and the churches. I believe you're going to visit some of those as well. Is that true?
Yeah, we're going to visit many of them, and we're just going to have a very wonderful time together. It's a small group of people.
I was going to say, is it limited? There's a limited number, so people got to sign up soon.
You have to sign up now,
it's going to fill up.
Get yourself there, and we're just going to have a wonderful time together.
Wonderful. Wow. And that's in October, you said?
Yes. It starts on October. Yeah, it's in October.
And how can people sign up for that?
You can
go to your website?
Yeah, you go to my website, rolandcomtois.net, and oh my gosh, all kind of crazy things are going all of a sudden.
That's okay.
Yeah, you can call my website, and we can, make all the arrangements.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And Italian food and all that. Great.
Oh my God, we're going to have wonderful Italian food, and it's just going to be an experience that is incredible. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, well. So let me move on. I'm going to go on to some of the things that I'm doing. I really only have one announcement at this moment, which is I have a Developing Your Intuition Level 2. This is really advanced intuition and psychic development class. It's online. We also do a little bit of evidential mediumship, teach you how to do that. That's starting June 29th, which is coming up soon. And if you got to sign up now, because we're starting on Monday. And this workshop online is geared towards going to the next level and developing your intuition skills, which eventually become psychic skills. And you're going to learn how to determine whether you're getting real messages and know when spirit is around you and when you're really connected. We also go into way to give, if you want to give a reading for someone else, what the structure is and how to get information through different ways, whether you're getting information from a name or a photograph, and also be able to look into where people are going in terms of the future and so on. But we talk a lot about going out and doing readings if you want to do it for other people or for your friends or family, and what the best way is to do that so you can bring the messages of love and help to those who really need them, and be able to answer questions about relationships and how to work on being a healthier person, a more spiritual person, and things like questions around careers and jobs. And we teach you about how to tap into your intuition to get a message for someone else for those things. And that's all online. You can learn about all of this level 2 advanced intuition through the online class, which you can get through your iPad or through your iPhone or through your Android, whatever smartphone you have, or on your computer. You don't need to travel, which is a really, really cool thing. We do level 1 that way as well. We've just done a couple of those with a bunch of wonderful, wonderful students, and they get incredible results. So you want to take it to the next level. We give you the tools to get specific information that can help you in your life. So if you're interested in registering, I'm giving a discount, a really nice big discount. It's if you put the discount code in, limited time 175, so that's limited time 175, and just go to my website lmk88.com/press, and you can sign up right there. And also, you'll have a chance to work with me directly through email and through your electronic devices. So it's a really cool class. So go there, sign up. So let's get back to our conversation, Roland. This is so exciting because I think it brings these messages to a whole new level of not just, I've got a message from my past loved one, but more about the overall picture of how I can move on, right?
Well, yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about next, was the bigger picture of all of this. Why, why does all of this happen? What does it teach us? How does it inspire us? And so take, for instance, being in a room with 50 or 60 people, and I'm giving a message to someone in the room. That person is emotionally charged, having some kind of, emotional reaction to what's going on. And what you begin to see is the rest of the audience become friends with this person, become connected to that person. And often last night I did an event again in Rhode Island, and there was a 24-year-old boy in there who lost his mom and was really saddened by that loss, of course. And I asked the audience, I said, do you realize why you're here tonight? And they said, no. I said, you're here to help this kid. And the guy started to cry.
Oh, wow.
I said, you're here to take him in your embrace. You're here to take him within your soul, and you're here to help him.
That's powerful. Oh my gosh, that's going to make me cry. Because I can just imagine being the one, being him.
Yes. And you know what it teaches us? It tells us that it's okay, and this may sound overwhelming to some, but it's okay to go beyond ourselves and really go back to what we are, who we are. And the true message of channeling and mediumship is to get us back to our true light.
Absolutely.
To remember that we have this light, right?
Right, exactly, and that we are connected in so many ways, and that's the inborn gift that we've been given. We just don't accept it or pay attention to it, but we should.
Yeah, there is not one book out there that says Roland Comtois has the gift. There isn't one. The books say everyone has a gift. Yeah. Every single human being has a gift. And when you tap into that gift, you tap into your humanity. When you tap into your humanity, you then become a steward of this planet, of this universe. You bring incredible energy forward.
Right. And to connect with others as well, that we're all, and that book, I've learned that that's truly what it means to be one
Yes.
Right. And, you kind of look at it separately. It's like, oh, you go out in your life and you do your thing. But then you learn about the spirituality of the oneness. But then when you put it together and being able to connect to others through that energy. And, I think I have to continue to remind myself always that it's not me against the world. It's, embracing the world and the world with me.
Yeah, sometimes it's me against myself. It's this inner battle that, because I think we get in the way. We get in the way of getting messages. We get in the way of things sometimes because we become distracted with the experiences of our human life, family, money, job, worries. Yeah, the day-to-day stuff.
Right, doing your grocery list, and
Yes.
oh my gosh, I gotta go get the mail and pay my bills, and it's hard to remember that. And what people have told me who've had near-death experiences where they have, left their bodies and gone to heaven, come back, bring back all the same messages, same story, which is what you're talking about. Is that the most important thing about living? Why are we here? Is that connection of love. I think it's very hard to really understand what that means.
Yes. I had a near-death experience 20-something years ago, and the lesson was and is and will forever be to live, to see life in this moment. One of the most amazing things that happened in that experience for me was as I was coming back into my body, I had this thought in my mind. I said, could Earth be as beautiful as heaven? And as I came back into my body, I looked around at the faces that were looking at me. I looked at the night sky, because it was night when this happened, and I realized that it is beautiful here.
Wow.
It is, but I have to make a choice to see the beauty.
Yes, and that's it. You know what? That is the key to life, it sounds like, coming back and seeing the beauty of where we are right now.
It is.
Well, let's go to break, and we'll talk more about that when we come back.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Do you want to be a better communicator? Do you want to better connect with the important people in your life? Do you want to enrich your relationships? If so, join me, Matthew Cooper, on the Positive Control System Show every Wednesday evening at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on OMTimes Radio. I'll meet you there.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millisers, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
And we're back. I'm Lisa Kay, and you're listening to Between Heaven and Earth on the OMTimes Radio Network. And we're having a wonderful conversation with Roland Comtois about the life hereafter and the world, and how we can have heaven on earth. So, Roland.
Works out nice for your show.
Doesn't it? That's what we're all about. Oh, I love the themes. So, I was just thinking as we went to break, you were talking about your near-death experience and how when you came back, you were wondering whether the world or the earth, it could be as beautiful as heaven, and that you got the answer that it could be. So what occurred to me is, how do you do that? And that was my question for you. And, how do we see the beauty? What do you do?
Well, that's a great question, because how do you see the beauty amidst some of the tragedies that we witness every single day of our lives? And the beauty isn't in the tragedy. The beauty is in the response. It's when people stand together. I'll never forget. Obviously, no one will ever forget the events of 9/11, but I equally will not forget the events of 9/12, when families stood strong.
Yeah.
When people came together, when countries stood by country, when cities stood by city,
yes.
when men of all colors came together, there was nothing that separated us. There was no separation between us at all.
No, and you see that, I think, even since then. Now we hear instantly things that are happening around the world that are
yes.
unpleasant and tragic. But and you do hear with social media or on the internet what people are, how they're responding, and that does give you it feels so good to know that you're not alone, and that people want to come together and do that.
That's a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing when we congregate together and gather together, because the consciousness of humanity raises when we're all in the same place at the same moment in the same time, and we all are able to take a collective breath, knowing that we'll persevere through that experience.
Absolutely. So, there's one thing about tragedy, and then there's other thing about day-to-day life, which is part of what I like to think about all the time, how I can make my life, my day-to-day life better. So how would you apply seeing the beauty in the world to your day-to-day life when you're worried about getting your kid to school and do they do the homework?
Well, I make a conscious effort. I don't try to do something. I do something. I sit quietly for a few moments during the day. I reflect on what I know. One of the things I say now, at my age, I no longer argue with the knowing. I don't get in a fight with the knowing anymore. I say, hey, knowing, I love you. And I thank you for being an instrument in my life. And I accept that. So I understand that there is chaos, there is overwhelming things, but I have the power within me to own this feeling, this knowing that I have. And I sit with it, and I make an effort to be in that place. And even when it's hectic and crazy, I stop. I reconnect to myself, because when I reconnect to myself, I'm then connected to everything, because we are one, because we are so beautifully bound by love and energy.
And so do you think that's something that everybody can do?
I do.
And how would we do that? Is it just
Stop
to be...
asking. Stop asking how.
Stop.
Right?
Don't think anymore.
Don't think. That's really true. It's really stop thinking about it. Just, say to your family, you know what, I need a break. I need to go sit outside. I need to be under the sun. I need to be near a tree. I need to be near a river. I need to sit quietly, and I need to just be in my space. We don't take enough time
to just be
in our spaces.
And be, but I think the key is to be and not to think.
Yes, because don't go and be in that space and start thinking and worrying about all the things that are on your plate. Go in that space, recognize that they exist, and just be present with the energy that you are and the light that you are.
It's interesting. I was sitting with some friends, actually my cousin last night, and my son, and my son was telling us a little story about how he had gotten into something happened in his personal life, just before he had to do his SATs. And big exam. And then he was like, oh, what do I do? And a friend of his said, you have to postpone those feelings, postpone those thoughts.
That's great.
Right? I thought that was really profound.
Very profound.
We have to do that. I think that's what you're saying, right? To sit,
yes.
And I'm just going to postpone those thoughts and feelings. And
yes.
so otherwise we feel like, we have to stop them and not think about them, which makes it worse, because it's like, well, if I don't think about them, I don't do something, it's going to get worse.
Yes.
But we can postpone.
We can. We could just put it aside for a minute, put it on the kitchen table, and go sit. Go be by yourself, with yourself. Yeah. Love yourself. And that creates this ripple effect of energy that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's key. And I think I forget. It's funny because, I like to do energy healing, and you would think I would, and I've done a lot of different modalities, and, one of them actually you've taught me. But I forget. I forget that it all is energy. And I think if we try to remember that, that it's more than just, E equals MC squared, and that everything is energy, but that what we do puts out energy, but then also it comes back to us, doesn't it?
It does. It comes back to us. And really what you put out comes back to you. Try it for a day. Be kind, be generous, be compassionate. Try it, and see what happens. What will happen is it will come back to you, and you will feel difference. Be good to yourself, because then you can be a greater instrument of this light that I see in you for those that are around you. And then they become a light. And then they become a light until all of this energy is moving forward.
Yes. And even though we might not know that it's happening at the time.
True. Right? Very true. But you have to just be there, involved, and be present as best as you can. And you know what? Now, the other thing I want to say to you, because you probably have a lot of spiritual people listening to your show, it's okay that you forgot.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's okay that you got. It's all right. What really becomes overwhelming is if you never remember again.
Oh.
It's okay that you forgot for a moment. It's okay that you became you were involved in the human experience of life, because as a spiritual person, we try to find that delicate balance between those two, and that's not always an easy experience. So give yourself a break.
Mm-hmm.
It's just okay. It's okay how it all works out.
Yeah, and we're always running and doing and worrying and I think that the forgiveness is really, I have to do that too. The super importance of that. I think it's nice to see a person like you who embodies a lot of certainly what you teach, which is wonderful. And what I love about you is that whenever I get you on the phone, how are you doing? And the beautiful things are wonderful and great, but you say it from your heart. Mm-hmm. And it's like you're always that, you're connected to that. But I know you have times in your life, just like everybody else, where things are not.
Sure, I was stressed 10 minutes ago before you called. I was stressed 10 minutes before you made your way to this place. So
yeah. And what do you do? So you let it come and go and get back to your space, or what?
Yeah, I postpone, just like you said a minute ago, and I say, well, I got to do this radio interview. I have to find that space within myself. I have to own it. I have to know it, and I have to just stay and be in that space. Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's what people like to hear these days, about the being present, being in the now.
Yeah, that's really an important place to be.
Yeah. Oh, that is really wonderful. We have a couple more minutes, and I wanted to go back to letting people know about your book, or your books. You have two books, two wonderful books. And then there was Heaven is one of them, and the other is 16 Minutes. And then there was Heaven briefly. What is it about?
It's a spiritual memoir with nuggets of hope and inspiration tucked inside, to give people the inspiration to take the journey of their lives. But it's a book about near-death experiences and a lot of other things.
Well, Wonderful.
And my 16-minute book is all about grief and loss and how to survive that with a little grief guidebook in the back of the book.
I love that. I read them both, but the 16 minutes was particularly powerful for me because as I said, I'm going through my parents being older and towards the end of their life, and it had such profound insights in the book that really helped me personally get through that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think. So again, your website is rolandcomtois.net.
Yes, rolandcomtois.net. Yes,
and all of us can go there and go to Italy. Roland, I would love to go to Italy. It's really an awesome thing. And you can reach me at lmk88.com, and we're going to be doing I'm going to be out there talking, doing some of the circuits out there. I've got some keynotes out there, and we're going to be in Denver September doing a keynote, and also Massachusetts. We're going to be there in November. So if you go to my website, you can look at my events list and find out where we're going to be next. And so, Roland, are you going to be anywhere close by New York City in the near future?
Probably over the summer at some point, but more joyfully, I am about to enter my vacation time. So,
wonderful.
Yes, I'll be off for a little bit and then up on the road again.
Great. And we can all go to your website and see where you're going to be next, because I know you do lots of traveling. Right?
Yes, lots of things. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show. You were amazing. Wonderful.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being with you, and I send you love and all of your listeners my love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And we're sending it back to you.
Thank you.
I'm Lisa Kay, and you've been listening to Between Heaven and Earth, Conscious Living for Your Soul. Tune in next time right here on OMTimes Radio. Angel blessings to everyone.